A substitute, some would argue a more efficient substitute for universal injunctions would be a class action lawsuit. What do you think about that?
You know, a class action does allow relief beyond the named representative plaintiff.
What happens when a single court ruling reaches far beyond the people actually in the courtroom? In this exchange, a key legal concept takes center stage, the universal injunction. During a tense Senate hearing, sharp questions and careful answers reveal why the Supreme Court has grown skeptical of this powerful judicial tool and what that means for future cases, class actions, and the limits of judicial authority. Let's slide in. If you find this political breakdown interesting, please give me a thumbs up and as well, like and subscribe for more.
I understand.
Okay. Ms. St. John, what's a universal injunction?
Universal injunction refers to an injunction that applies universally beyond the parties to the case.
The Supreme Court has recently had something to say about universal injunctions, has it not?
Yes, Senator.
What did the Supreme Court instruct us?
Well, in Trump v. Casa, the Supreme Court held that universal injunctions are disfavored and courts are limited to awarding complete relief as to the parties before the court.
Did the Supreme Court talk about class actions in its opinions?
No, Senator, not directly that I recall.
Okay. Do you think one of the arguments, as I understand it, for universal injunctions, well, it's both an argument for and against, but that it impacts more than just the plaintiffs before the court. Is that correct?
Yes, Senator.
I've heard the argument made that a substitute, some would argue a more efficient substitute for universal injunctions would be a class action lawsuit. What do you think about that?
You know, a class action does allow relief beyond the named representative plaintiff. You know, the class actions have a lot of additional safeguards set forth in Rule 23. And so, you know, it does allow large groups of plaintiffs to come together in one case in a way that may not be, to seek relief in a way that bilateral litigation may not allow, but it does have additional protections.
Okay. Let me go back to Mr. Davis. Since we have our ATF nominee in front